What's good, YouTube? It's AvrielR32 here, a member of Team True Gamers, bringing you guys back not really an old series, but a series that I've been trying to keep up with, which I really haven't been able to for a while now, and it's True Insider. I know that someone messaged my teammate Charlie Chaplin about True Insider, which I am doing, so be sure to subscribe to this channel, AvrielR32, for all of your True Insider stuff and all that good old fancy jazz. So today in this True Insider episode, I wanted to talk about innovation and the aftermath of YCS Providence, aka YCS Rhode Island, and all that stuff. So what happened at YCS Providence? Well, as you guys know, I posted the deck list, which got 320 views. I checked it this morning before I left for school, and it was like 163 with like 3 likes and 4 dislikes. Now it's up to like 5 likes and 4 dislikes, which I don't get why it has like 4 dislikes. But anyways, I'm going off on a random tangent. But as you guys know, Karakuri Gear Gear 1 YCS Providence, piloted by Chris LeBlanc. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. I apologize if I am not. But I didn't watch all of Jarrell Prowinson's video. I watched like everything up until like the last 2 minutes. So I don't know if Jarrell asked him if he did it as a meta call, but I'm going to assume that from what I saw of his deck list, I would say it wasn't really a meta call, and in my opinion, I don't think he did it as a meta call, just because that when you take the Gear Gear deck and you test it, you just play test regular hands between other decks like Dino Rabbit or Inzectors or Chaos Dragons. You know, it is, which it has been proven, it is the number one deck that can get the most consistent hands. You know, other Yu-Gi tubers have said this, and I personally have not said it here on my YouTube channel, but even testing the deck myself in real life, I have noticed that it does get very consistent hands. You know, simple power shuffle, you know, whatever kind of shuffle, you still get those consistent hands. I'm not saying that you're always going to open up Gear Gear Armor, but I am saying that you won't get a bad hand every 3 games, for example, let's say. So let's give an example. Let's say you're playing Gear Gears. You might get a bad hand every, let's say, 7 games. Just an example. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but just an example. And let's say you're using Dino Rabbit and you get a bad hand every 5 games. Would you rather take the deck that gets you a bad hand every 5 games, or would you rather take the deck that you would get a bad hand every 7 games? And I'm just talking about bad hand. I'm not talking about the matchup. I'm just talking about the hands in general. And if you look at Chris LeBlanc's opening hands, Game 1 and 2, you will see why he won. He opened up the outs. Game 2, he opened up with Macrocosmos, which screwed over the Chaos Dragon player for at least, what was it, maybe 5-6 turns? I just got done reading the feature match about 10 minutes ago or so, because I just got home from school like half an hour ago. Anyways, so long story short, the impact of YCS Providence is that Gear Geigen X is already back up in price. It was 30 to 35, now it's already back up to 70 to 80. So my one Gear Geigen X went from 70 to 80, or from 30 to 40 to 70 to 80 now, since it just won YCS. And what was interesting about his deck was that he took the Karakuri version, which some people said is not as consistent as the Machina engine. He had no kind of Machinas in there, which is interesting because personally I would have thought that Machinas would win. And I think it's more because even though that you can combine the Karakuri engine with the Machina engine, which is what I have seen a few people do, and it has worked out for them, personally I would just rather take one or the other, but depending on your playstyle, you know, you can edit that however way you want. But really, I think the main reason why the Karakuri engine itself won and the Machinas kind of didn't really die off, but more that they didn't really have a chance, was really that the Karakuri engine itself is how do I explain it? Like, is a battle in its own. Like, the ability for you to be able to play a Karakuri and switch its battle position whenever it attacks or is attacked. You know, like even in Chris LeBlanc's feature match, he had an Espachi in attack mode. His opponent went Light Pulsar attack, got switched to defense, and he got a +1 draw off of his burrito from it. So, it's just, it gives you, I think, Okay, the main reason is because it gives you the more plus advantage. Like, you get to be able to draw more, you get to search more. If you're able to get your encourages on board and be able to keep them on board, they get switched to defense whenever they get attacked. Or, their battle position gets changed whenever they're attacked, I should say. So, if you have it in attack mode, it's going to get switched to defense, but if it's in defense, it won't switch to attack mode, it'll just stay in defense. And you get those +1 draws. Being able to manipulate the battle positions of those monsters and getting the +1 draws, I believe that's why it won. Machina Fortress is a good card, don't get me wrong, it is a very good card, because Machina Fortress is one of those cards that it can be stopped very easily, and I think that's why a lot of people kind of strayed away from it, and I think that's more why Karakuri's won, because you don't really have to rely on the fortress as much. If you go attack and they go deep prism, you're like, oh well, damn, I just lost my fortress. And then you have a banished fortress, and you have maybe 2 more, and then drawing into a Machina Cannon that's dead, it's kind of like eh. Whereas the Karakuri Gear doesn't really have a lot of dead hands. If you draw into a Machina Cannon as a top deck and you don't have any fortresses, you're like, well, crap, this sucks. Whereas with Karakuri Gear, it's more of, okay, I can deal with whatever kind of card I draw or whatever kind of hand I have. So, long story short, prices of Gear are going to go up, up, up. So invest, invest, invest. Highly recommend it. And now moving on to innovation. Now, why do I want to talk about innovation in this? The reason why I'm talking about innovation in this True Insider segment, along with talking about YCS Providence, is because that Chris LeBlanc was using thnx Ally Birdman, which not a lot of Karakuri Gear were using until they saw this particular build. And it was a very good tech choice. It wasn't, a super amazing tech choice, but it's a very good tech choice. The ability to be able to bounce back Gear armor and use it for later because you're afraid that you're going to lose it is very good. Being able to hold on to those Gear armors as long as you can and being able to have that 1900 wall is very good, because not a lot of monsters can get over it. It's equal with Thunder King. Thunder King is really the only thing that can really shut down the Gear themselves, because not only can you negate the special summons from their exceeds, but you can also be able to stop their searches, and that's really all they do is search and then get a +1 draw from hit Karakuris and Burritos and Berets, and switch the battle position of your monsters in order to easily get over them, etc., etc. And why I'm talking about innovation is because as I thought about innovation and as I saw what he had teched into his deck, and not using Solemn Judgment and using thnx Ally Birdman and all that stuff, I've come to realize that if you want to innovate something, you take a deck, okay? You take something like Gear or Dino Rabbit or Insectors. You have to realize that innovation is a process. And what do I mean by that? I mean that you have to start, if you're going to do innovation, you have to kind of think of it in a couple things. Number one, you have to think that innovation is a process. Number two, you have to realize that in innovation, you have to start with the old and begin with the new. That is a saying that I believe should go with every single player that wants to do innovation. You start with the old and end with the new. What do I mean by this saying? What I mean is, you take some older cards from older sets and you add them in a new decks now, they will actually be kind of good. For example, if you take thnx Ally Birdman into Chronomalies, you can manipulate the levels of Chronomalies in the deck very well. You could go summon Chronomaly Golden Jet, put its level up to level 5. Its effect, you can be able to increase the levels of all Chronomalies by 1 until the end phase. You go special summon Moi. Just if you control another Chronomaly monster, you special summon. Bounce back the Moi, summon Birdman. Birdman gets banished, your Golden Jet goes to the graveyard, you have an easy level 8 Synchro. An older card being thrown into a new card. Simple example in Karakuri Gear thnx Ally Birdman, older card, in a newer set. That's why I did those couple of videos that actually got a lot of views. A very old tech for a very new archetype, where I talked about Sorcerer of Dark Magic in Prophecies, just using a 1-of. It is an extremely old card, but maybe with some testing and on paper it does look very well. Now, when I talk about innovation being a process, like I said, starting with the old, ending with the new. I'm going to be stressing that a lot in this video. When you start, innovation is kind of like, a step 1 you do this, step 2 you do this, step 3 you do this. Everybody knows, with innovation, you gotta net deck, and personally, in my opinion, I believe innovation is, you can net deck a deck and then, make the changes as you see fit. Well, obviously, innovation, as I just said, a process. You start off with the deck that you are using. You play the deck, play the deck, play the deck. You see the problems, you tweak the problems. Step 2, you continue to play test with the deck, and eventually you see what other problems may occur with the deck, what should be in it, what should maybe be in the side deck. Step 3, you continue to play test with the changes that you have made after that, and you come up with a side deck. By that point, by the time you get to step 3, you should know, is this deck tournament worthy? Is this deck regional worthy? Is this deck YCS worthy? Is this a good meta call for the meta right now? That's everything you have to take into account with innovation. Innovation is not easy. It takes a lot of intelligence to know, does this card work in this kind of deck? Does this work in my build? Does this work with this? Does this work with this? And it does take a long time. But like how Tyler Tavin played Final Countdown. He said it was a meta call, and it was a very good meta call because he did innovation. He knew that innovation was a process. He knew that in order to see how he was going to be able to do the best and how to catch people most off guard, he figured, I'm going to use Final Countdown, because nobody was going to be prepared for that. Of course, nobody's really ever prepared for Final Countdown. But, if a deck is going to be topping a lot, it's going to gain popularity. People all know what gear gives do. And another thing with innovation is, if you're going to take a deck to a region like the Neospatian deck that I showed you on my channel, in case you haven't seen that yet, go and check it out. It's a very good deck in my opinion. I would say that could be somewhat regional worthy if you were to tweak it a little bit to your liking. And no one's going to know what that does. No one's going to know what Neospatian Aqua Dolphin does. No one's going to know what Elemental Hero Grand Neos does. Nobody's going to know what Elemental Hero Storm Neos does. They're not going to be prepared. Maybe when you go summon Elemental Hero Prisma and you reveal Elemental Hero Grand Neos, they may not bottomless the Prisma when you know that they really should, and they end up not doing it, and you end up plussing because of that. Because your opponent does not know what these cards do. And that's why whenever you are going to do innovation in a deck, the more innovation you do, the more it's going to throw your opponent off. But too much innovation can be your downfall. Like, obviously, you don't want to throw 3 Beaver Warriors into a Chronomaly deck. Like, it's just, like, so random. Like, a Beaver Warrior is not using anything like that. It's not really using anything. But the point of this video is that when you're doing innovation, you look at old stuff and you end with the new. So you start with the old and end with the new. And like I said, I'm stressing it a lot in this video, and I'm trying to be as insightful as I possibly can. Innovation can be kind of a confusing thing, but that's when it comes to the point of, when talking with innovation, you have to really do a meta check. And that's another thing with innovation. Doing a meta check is probably the best thing you can do. You take all the decks in the meta, and you look at them and you say, what is the best deck that can combat all of these decks evenly, or have the best advantage over all of these decks? For example, Geargias. What has the most advantage over Geargia? Stuff that can run Thunder King, wind-ups, if they're able to open up good. In the mirror match, it's basically whoever can be able to get the more pluses, who can be able to maintain the field presence, etc., etc. All that takes into effect. So, basically what I'm saying is, if you're going to innovate, definitely be smart about it. Definitely do all the steps that I've given you. I've given you the information. You just have to apply it. I've tried to spoon feed the information, really. So hopefully you guys have found this insightful. And final wrap up, with innovation, do a meta check. Best thing you can do. Check out all the decks in the meta, see what you have the most advantage with. See what can have the most advantage over all the decks. Try tech cards. Tech cards is going to be your best friend. They can also be your downfall if you use too many. Start with the old and begin with the new, because innovation is always going to be a process. And finally, invest in your Geargia stuff. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed. I really hope I really enlightened you guys. I've been playing this game competitively since 2009, so I do apologize if I didn't do very well in this video. I just kind of turned the camera on and started recording, but I knew what I wanted to say. So I think that is it for everything. Thank you guys for all the views, for all the subscribers. Right after I did my 61 subscriber video, I gained another subscribers, now I'm at 62. My Geargia character deck profile has 320 views. That's really awesome. I'm going to try and get more of the deck profiles up once I'm able to find them. And I don't think I'm going to be able to post a video tomorrow. I've been posting daily, like for the past few weeks now. But I'm going to be really busy with school tomorrow because this week is homecoming, and I have the homecoming dance on Saturday, and you know, me and my dad are going to have some fun and all that good jazz. So if I don't put up a lot of videos this week, I apologize, you guys. I'm going to be really busy this week just with homecoming, with school, and whatever. So I think that's it for everything, you guys. I really do appreciate all the support that you've been giving me. Please like this video. It really does encourage me to make more. Dislikes, not so much. You know, 4 dislikes on that winner of YCS Providence. It didn't really make me feel too good, but you know, it's got 5 likes to 4 likes, so that's not too bad. But keep on showing that support, guys. Show that like button some love. You know, maybe kick it in the face or something. I don't know. But you know, don't give that dislike button any love. It doesn't deserve any love. That red bar is really annoying. So I think that's it. Be sure to subscribe for everything Yu-Gi-Oh! related. I'm your #1 source for everything Yu-Gi-Oh! related. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. And Team True Gamer signing out.